Whew, what a relief. Junior Motorsports, Justin Allgaier have qualified for the Daytona 500, and we're not even points racing yet, and we've already got officiating controversy. How's it going, y'all? My name is Eric. Welcome to Out of the Groove on the Go late night edition coming to you from Daytona International Speedway. Just got done watching the unsponsored duel races at Daytona. There's a lot to break down. We'll talk about the race just to get into the Daytona 500. We'll talk about the controversy at the end of duel race number 2. You'll hear from some of the key finishers. But first, a few takeaways. Toyota is having a really good week so far. Wednesday night, they shocked the world. Joe Gibbs Racing's Chase Briscoe winning the pole. Toyota's first Daytona 500 pole this millennia. Nobody saw that coming. They backed up that Wednesday night effort by winning duel race number 1 tonight with Bubba Wallace, his first NASCAR Cup Series trophy in over 2 years. And then in duel race number 2, I know the Ford of Austin Cindric ultimately got credited with the win, but it was Erik Jones's Toyota that made the big move down the backstretch that put himself in position to beat the two Team Penske teammates. Timing just didn't quite work out. So Toyota has made statement after statement after statement the first couple days of Speed Week. Does that mean they're the manufacturer to beat Sunday? It's too hard to say. Toyota has one super speedway win in 18 next-gen super speedway races. So you could look at that two different ways. You could say, oof, the odds are against them. You could also say, well, that means they're due. They're overdue. Ford is still going to be tricky. I thought Ryan Preece in duel race number 1, kind of on an island. The lone Ford in the lead draft held on pretty well until eventually he got split middle 3 wide. Put him out there with the 6 and the 17, and RFK Racing could do some serious damage. Of course, Team Penske, they won duel race number 2. Logano and Cindric were arguing on pit road about how they worked together, but it was good enough ultimately still to get the win. So even Team Penske not at their best, tough to beat at Daytona. So the Fords, I think the Fords are going to have the most consistent speed, but Toyota, again, one super speedway win in 18 next-gen races. They look a lot better. They look new and improved these first couple days of Speed Week. So that's my first takeaway. Between Chase Briscoe Wednesday, Erik Jones and Bubba Wallace tonight, I think Toyota's having themselves a pretty good week so far. Oh, and not to mention both of their open cars. I forgot this. Martin Truex and Jimmy Johnson qualified into the show Wednesday night. Didn't have to stress this evening. So yeah, Toyota's feeling themselves right now. Second takeaway. Can we get off Corey LaJoie's back for a week at least? The guy is a legitimately good super speedway racer. Driving a Rick Ware prepared entry, the number 01 Stacking Pennies performance, drove his way up into the top 5 in his duel race, got himself a good finish, locked into the main show. Corey LaJoie last season, I showed y'all this stat earlier in the week. Corey LaJoie last year had the 10th best average finish at the 6 super speedway races, and that was with 2 different teams. He made 5 of those starts with Spire and 1 in a Rick Ware Ford. We've seen him contend at Atlanta in the past. The guy is an above average super speedway racer. We at least have to give him that credit. I guess what we've learned is that Corey LaJoie is at his absolute best when there are 0 expectations. All eyes this week have been on Helio Castroneves, IndyCar legend, past champions, Truex, Johnson, Junior Motorsports with Justin Allgaier. We kind of forgot about Corey LaJoie, but lo and behold, he locks into the show. So that's my second takeaway. For this week at least, can we get off Corey LaJoie's back? He ran a great race tonight. Third takeaway. Race Control insists on always being part of the story. Duel race number 2 again ended with Erik Jones making a great move on the final lap to draw up even with Austin Cindric. To the line, Jones by an inch as they wreck behind him. But wait, check the tape. NASCAR threw the caution like 100 feet before the start. Less than 100 feet it looked like basically the distance between me and this blue fence behind me. I don't know if y'all can, if your depth perception is off, but that's not much distance. I get it. NASCAR isn't supposed to care about where we are in the race. If there's a dangerous situation on the track, they're supposed to hit the button. Oh, cars are crashing hard, hitting the wall, boom, button. Doesn't matter if it's lap 1 or lap 200. NASCAR should be consistent about when they press the button. That's why I'm not angry, just frustrated, because I get safety, but they could have held off for a half a second and let this race finish under green. Now in the record books, it's another finished under caution race. Like, come on. Erik Jones had to awkwardly, cheer, fist pump, park in front of the grandstands only to be like yanked backstage, like in cartoons where they pulled a hook and whoop, get out of here. Nothing to see here, people. Even Austin Cindric on pit road, when they told him, hey, you won, he looked dumbfounded, like he thought he was being pranked. Hidden cameras were going to pop up all of a sudden. He went over to the flag stand and there was no one to meet him. There was no checkered flag to collect. Again, I'm not mad because NASCAR sees a big wreck. They should press the button. That's consistent. I'm just frustrated that this is a story yet again. Mark Martin, NASCAR Hall of Famer, pointed out 2007, they crashed a whole hell of a lot sooner, and NASCAR let it run green, and we got one of the most iconic photo finishes in stock car racing history. I don't know. I'm not that mad. I'm just irritated that this is now a narrative. Feel bad for Erik Jones. He made the right move, a great move to win the race, but timing didn't go his favor. Austin Cindric gets the victory instead. Austin Cindric's had himself a pretty good week as well, sitting on the front row and then backing that up with a dual win. How about that? So that's my third takeaway. Do I have any more takeaways, really? I mean, both dual races tonight were more physical than I was expecting. Big crash in dual race number 1. Chandler Smith cleared himself off the nose of Justin Haley, crashed hard. A few other cars got damaged. Elio Castroneves will now have to use the OEP, the open exemption provisional, to make the show in the 41st position because he wrecked. A lot of bent fenders for a couple of qualifying races. Shoot, even the pole sitter, Chase Briscoe, got some damage on the nose from hitting some debris. I think it's repairable, but we'll see about his status for Sunday night. We'll finish things up with Junior Motorsports because that was the leading story coming into tonight, and that was the story I followed the most closely throughout the evening. I followed the team out to the grid when they pushed the car out there. I was scanning their radio all race long, hanging out by their pit box all race long. For most of the race, the tension was tangible. You could feel it. Early in the race, they made a small mistake on pit road, I think, got some jitters out of the way early. Thought it was funny that at one point Greg Ives came over the radio and told Allgaier, yeah, you're 4 laps to the good on fuel, but come in on top off anyways. Like, man, they were just being extra careful, tiptoeing around out there sometimes, especially after the early crash that took out Chandler Smith and Elio Castroneves. Then the goal became clear, beat J.J. Yaley, which he gave Jimmy Johnson all he could handle in this race 1 year ago, but you don't expect NY Racing to be the most competitive. Credit to J.J. Yaley. He put himself in position, door to door, battling with Truex, battling with Allgaier for the transfer spot. Just didn't work out at the end because, frankly, it pays to be Dale Earnhardt Jr. I mean, y'all noticed at the end of this race, right? Josh Berry, a former Junior Motorsports driver, I mean, Dale's protege in many ways, he was back there helping push Justin Allgaier here and there. Michael McDowell helped out as well. Like, J.J. Yaley didn't have that support, unfortunately. So, took a lot of help, but Justin Allgaier was able to race his way in. The moment they crossed the line, 3 wide across the entire pack, there was instant relief. There was an instant release of that tension. Hugs, high fives, excitement. Gosh, dramatic stuff. I know the Daytona Duels get overlooked a lot nowadays. There's usually only a couple of guys each year gunning for an open spot, but tonight reminded me why the duel races can be special. I mean, listen to Justin Allgaier after the race. Sounded like this was more stressful than the Xfinity Series championship last year.
Dale and Kelly being up here, LW, I mean, when you look at the emotion of them and you look at the emotion of everybody on pit road tonight, I don't know that there's words to describe it. Dale's already said it, but like, I don't know why this feels different, why this is more emotional, why this is more pressure and stress. I mean, I think for me, I just don't want to let Dale down. I don't want to let Kelly down. I want to let our fans down. Coming across the line was like this relief that I don't even know if I got that same relief winning the championship last fall. I don't know. It was really weird, but you're proud of the effort, proud of the team. You know, we got a lot of work to do before Sunday. You know, some damage we got to fix from the first incident, some things like that. Some things we can clean up as a driver and as a team. And, you know, like Dale said, this is icing on the cake now. We can go have some fun on Sunday and know that we're locked into the Great American Race. And feels good. Feels good to say we're going to start the Daytona 500.
For Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Kelly Earnhardt Miller and the whole Junior Motorsports team specifically, this was obviously a very emotional night, and I felt during the post-race press conference, and I didn't see any of the TV interviews, maybe Dale poured his heart and soul out there as well, but during his media availability afterwards, I felt like that was the first time In some ways, Dale Earnhardt Jr. was honest with everyone about how much this meant to him. I don't think he wanted to show it too much too soon in case, worst came to worst and they missed the show. Dale doesn't strike me as the kind of guy to ask for everyone's sympathy. So no, they waited until, fortunately, it worked out. And then I think the honest emotions really came forward. Dustin Long of NBC asked Dale a very good question about his family history at this track, the good, obviously the bad. What does this place mean to Dale now? And this was part of his answer.
Daddy loved Daytona, and loved winning here, and he just loved to win any race here. He loved to add to that number, whatever it was, 36 wins. But just a lot of great memories. And then, so when he passed away, I had to make a decision. I had a career in front of me. I was coming back multiple times, and I had to figure out a way to be okay with it. And I knew that it wasn't the track, that took him. And I knew that he, wherever he was still felt the same about Daytona. And so I've embraced it. And him losing his life in this property brought this property closer to me. Now that doesn't work the same for other people in tragedy, but for me, knowing I had to keep coming here, I made some peace with it and embraced the track and love it. And add on top of that, I love the history of the sport, and add on top of the fact that this is like the cornerstone or this is the foundation of the sport between Darlington here and a few other tracks. This is really what helped us launch ourselves off of the beach and out of the dirt tracks of the little bull rings and make us a genuine sport. And so and all of the historic moments that have happened here, and getting to win here myself. And I think that I was going to say at some point during this press conference that we should celebrate this track and this race. Where else do you go and barely make the field and cry tears of joy? Nowhere. There's some relief, but this is incredible. So I think that helps you measure the importance of the race and how big it is to me, anyways. But
outside of the controversial Duel 2 finish, you got to feel like NASCAR got exactly what they wanted tonight, really this whole week. The two past champions, Jimmie Johnson and Martin Truex Jr., locked in on speed. Helio Castroneves is racing through the OEP, and then you get Junior Motorsports in the show. Bubba Wallace gets the win tonight in the first Duel race, so NASCAR has to be overjoyed. I saw the Adam Stern tweet. Qualifying ratings last night were up like 10-12% year over year. That's the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Junior Motorsports effect in action. They had to earn it. I'm not trying to suggest NASCAR was giving Dale Jr. and Junior Motorsports a spot in the Daytona 500. Absolutely not. Up until the last lap, their spot was very much in jeopardy, in doubt. J.J. Yaley put up a hell of a fight. But that being said, the Daytona 500 is a lot more interesting now with Junior Motorsports in the field. Justin Allgaier, fresh off an Xfinity Series champion, a veteran. This is a big opportunity for him and that whole team. You could tell just how much this race, this moment means to them. Extremely special, good stuff. That's it. That's my quick takeaway after watching tonight's dual races at Daytona. By the time you're watching this Friday morning, the Truck Series races this evening on FS1, and then we have the Xfinity Series Saturday afternoon, the Cup race Daytona 500 Sunday on Fox. Stay tuned right here. Follow me on Twitter at EricEastep17 as well. I'll be posting updates throughout the weekend. It's the Great American Race, y'all. I appreciate the support. I'll see you again real soon. Thanks for tuning in.